Chapter 1. The beginning of the storm. Europe's night skies were never this dark. The clouds above Vienna hung low and heavy, swallowing the moonlight as if hiding a secret. Streetlights stretched across the old stone roads, their yellow glow reflecting softly on the rain-soaked pavements. It was the kind of night where danger moved quietly, and destiny walked right beside it. Aiden Hale tightened the collar of his black leather jacket as he stepped out of the airport. Tall, sharp-featured, and calm in a way that made people curious, he carried only a single backpack. No suitcase, no comfort, no attachment, because Aiden wasn't here for tourism. He was here for a mission. And this time, the mission was personal. He glanced at his phone. A single message glowed on the screen. Target seen in Europe. Last known location: Vienna. Find him before he disappears again. Aiden exhaled slowly. The man he was hunting wasn't an ordinary criminal. He was the reason Aiden's life had shattered 3 years ago. He was the reason Aiden stopped trusting, stopped loving, stopped living like everyone else. A black BMW pulled up beside him. The driver leaned out of the window. "You Aiden Hale?" Aiden nodded. "Who sent you?" "Someone who wants you alive," the driver said. "Get in." Aiden hesitated only for a second, then opened the door and slid into the city. Rushed past them, lights blurring like streaks of gold in the rain. Aiden watched silently, his senses sharp, ready for danger, but he wasn't ready for her. Not for Alena. The BMW stopped near an old European cafe, its windows warm, glowing like a sanctuary against the cold night. "Inside," the driver said. "She's waiting." Aiden raised an eyebrow. "She? You'll see." Aiden entered the cafe cautiously. And then he froze. There she was. A woman seated alone near the window, her long dark hair falling over a light beige coat, her eyes the deep stormy blue of the Danube River. She held a cup of coffee between her hands, watching the rain outside, but the moment she saw him, something sparked in her gaze. Not fear, not surprise, something else. Recognition. Aiden walked toward her. "You're the one who called me?"
Alena nodded slowly.
"I know why you're here, and I can help you find him." Aiden narrowed his eyes. "Why would you help me?" Alena's voice was quiet, but steady. "Because the man you're hunting destroyed my life too." Lightning flashed outside, illuminating her face. Beautiful yet marked by pain, Aiden sat down across from her. Two strangers, one mission, one enemy, and a storm about to begin. Chapter 2. The stranger in the shadows. The night outside the hotel was cold, the kind of cold that carried secrets through the wind. Aiden stepped out of the revolving glass door, hands in his pockets, eyes scanning the nearly empty street. Paris was never truly quiet, yet tonight, it felt watched. He walked toward his motorcycle, helmet in hand, when he felt the air shift behind him. Someone was close. "Going somewhere in a hurry?" A voice said, calm, controlled, and dangerously familiar. Aiden turned slowly. A man stood under the street lamp, face half in shadow, wearing a long gray coat that swayed with the breeze. His eyes were sharp, trained, and chillingly precise. Aiden recognized him instantly. Marco Velis, former colleague, now wanted in 4 countries. "What do you want?" Aiden asked, jaw tightening. Marco smiled faintly. "Not what. Who?" He stepped closer, his boots clicking softly on the pavement. "I'm looking for the girl you were with inside." Alena. Aiden's heartbeat thumped once. Hard. He hid the shift in his expression. "What makes you think she's with me?" Aiden asked, voice controlled. Marco chuckled. Aiden, you always were a terrible liar." He leaned in slightly. "She has something that belongs to us." Aiden's muscles tensed. This wasn't random. This was bigger. Much bigger. Marco tilted his head. "Where is she?" Aiden didn't answer. Marco's smile dropped. "Listen carefully. She's in danger. Real danger. And not just from me." Aiden felt a prickle run down his spine. Marco wasn't bluffing. Why? Aiden asked. Marco took a breath, his voice low. "She stole the Orion key." Aiden's eyebrows narrowed. "Impossible. That was destroyed years ago." Marco slowly shook his head. "That's what they wanted the world to believe. But Alena holds the real one." Silence. The kind of silence that changes the course of a person's life. Marco stepped back into the shadows. Find her. Protect her if you want. But once the others arrive, neither of you will survive. He turned and vanished into the alleyway, disappearing as if swallowed by the darkness. Aiden stood frozen. Everything changed in seconds. He pulled out his phone, typed one message. Aiden. Stay inside your room. Lock the door. Don't trust anyone. I'm coming. He didn't wait for a reply. He started the engine of his motorcycle, heart pounding, mind racing. Aiden and Alena danger. Nothing about this made sense yet. But Aiden knew one thing with absolute certainty. Tonight was only the beginning. And Alena was now at the center of a storm powerful enough to burn Europe to the ground. Chapter 3. The message in the dark. Rain hammered against the wide glass windows of Aiden's penthouse in central Vienna. The city's evening lights flickered through the storm, neon reflections dripping down like dissolving memories. Aiden stood motionless near the window, hands in his pockets, staring out with a face carved in quiet tension. Alena had been missing for 7 hours. That's 7 hours since she stepped out of the museum. 7 hours since she sent her last text. Aiden, someone's following me. And then silence. His phone buzzed sharply. Aiden snatched it up, but froze. It wasn't Alena. It was an unknown number. A grainy image appeared on the screen, a warehouse. A chain hanging from the ceiling. A shadow of someone bound to a chair. A blurred glimpse of blonde hair. Alena. Aiden's heartbeat slammed against his ribs. A second message dropped in. Come alone. Midnight. Pier 17. Bring the artifact. His jaw tightened. He didn't have the artifact. Not anymore. Alena didn't even know the truth about it. Not yet. The rain intensified. Thunder rolling across the city like the sound of fate approaching. Aiden opened his hidden vault behind a painting. Inside lay blueprints, encrypted drives, a specially modified pistol, and a small silver pendant. Alena's pendant. The one she had accidentally dropped in his car 2 days ago. He closed his eyes, holding it tightly. I'm coming, Alena, even if it kills me. He tucked a weapon beneath his jacket, locked the vault, and headed out. Vienna, Pier 17 at midnight. Fog covered the water like a white ghost drifting over the Danube. The pier was nearly abandoned, except for distant streetlights flickering like dying stars. Aiden moved quietly, scanning the surroundings. Every instinct screamed trap. His earpiece buzzed. Someone had tapped into his private channel. A distorted voice spoke. Aiden Blackwood, you always run toward danger. Admirable. Or foolish. Aiden's fingers tightened around his gun. Where is she? He growled. The voice chuckled darkly. Bring us the artifact, and she walks free. I don't have it. A heavy silence followed. Then she dies tonight. A door creaked open inside the warehouse. A dim light blinked, revealing a figure tied to a chair. Alena? Aiden whispered. He made his move. Swift, silent, deadly. In seconds he slipped inside the warehouse, taking cover behind metal crates. A guard patrolled near Alena. Aiden loaded a tranquilizer dart. Thwick. The guard dropped silently. Aiden rushed to Alena, untying her hands. Her eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. Aiden. You came. Her voice trembled. I always will. But before he could lift her, spotlights exploded on. Men emerged from every corner. A slow clap echoed. From the shadows stepped a man with cold eyes and a sharper smile. The one Aiden hoped never to meet again. Marcus Vellner, Aiden's former ally, now his most dangerous enemy. Marcus smirked. Finally, Aiden. I told you, everyone has a weakness. And yours is standing right in front of you. Alena's hand gripped Aiden's arm. Aiden. What artifact is he talking about? Aiden exhaled, eyes locked with Marcus. It's time you knew everything. Marcus raised his gun. Too late, and the warehouse erupted into chaos. Chapter 4. Shadows in the night. Rain hammered the narrow streets of Prague as Aiden and Alena rushed through the dimly lit alleyways. The ancient stone buildings loomed over them like silent witnesses, holding centuries of secrets, now about to swallow theirs too. Aiden's breath formed small clouds in the cold air. We shouldn't have been seen, he muttered. Alena glanced back, tightening the straps of her leather shoulder satchel. They were waiting for us. Someone tipped them off. Aiden stopped. His jaw tightened. You think it was someone from your foundation? Alena hesitated. Just for a second. I don't know anymore. The distant sound of footsteps echoed. Fast, sharp, coordinated. Aiden pulled her into a narrow gap between two buildings. The wall was cold against her back as he placed a finger gently on her lips, signaling silence. She swallowed as the footsteps grew louder. Passing so close she could hear the whisper of their coats brushing against the wet stone. Aiden's body shielded hers. His arm braced above her head, rain dripping from his hair onto her cheek. She could feel his heartbeat. Fast, controlled, dangerous. When the men finally disappeared, Aiden stepped back. We have to move. Now. They slipped through the back streets until they reached the Charles Bridge, its statues glowing under the yellow lamps, rain reflecting the golden light. Aiden scanned the area. We're not going to your apartment. They'll be watching it. Then where? Alena asked. My safe house. She stared at him. You never told me you had one. He smirked faintly despite the danger. You never asked. The safe house. 20 minutes later, the safe house was hidden behind an antique bookstore. Aiden pushed open a heavy wooden door, revealing a modern interior. Dark steel walls, security panels, and screens blinking with encrypted data. Alena looked around. This doesn't look like a tourist choosing to travel Europe for fun. Aiden pulled off his wet jacket. That's because I'm not one. He walked to a metal drawer and pulled out a small black memory chip, the one Alena risked everything to bring to Prague. Aiden held it between his fingers. This chip? Why were they willing to kill you for it? Alena's voice softened. Because it contains proof that the Helios Corporation has been running illegal human trials across Europe, and someone powerful is protecting them. Aiden's face darkened. So this is bigger than you told me. Would you have helped me if I told you everything? She whispered. He looked at her for a long moment, the air between them heavy. Yes, Aiden said quietly. I would have helped you sooner. A soft knock suddenly echoed through the safe house door. 3 slow taps. Aiden froze. No one knows this place. The knock repeated. 3 taps, then silence. Alena's eyes widened. Aiden? Who is that? Aiden reached for his gun. I don't know, but stay behind me. As he approached the door, the lights flickered. The security alarms began to blink red. Alena gasped. They found us. Aiden grit his teeth. No. Someone led them here. He opened the door a fraction, just enough to see the shadow of a person collapsing into the doorway. Aiden swung it open fully. A woman lay on the ground, drenched, injured, bleeding. Someone Aiden clearly recognized. Alena? He whispered, voice falling into shock. That's my sister. Alena staggered back. And the chapter ends with the storm truly beginning. Chapter 5. Shadows in the rain. Night fell over Vienna like a velvet curtain soaked in rain. The streets glistened, neon lights fractured into trembling colors. Aiden's leather jacket was soaked, but he didn't stop running until he reached the old stone bridge where Alena had asked him to meet. For a moment, he thought she wasn't coming. Then he saw her, standing under a flickering street lamp, hair damp, eyes restless, clutching a small USB drive like it was a live grenade. Aiden. We're not safe anymore, she whispered. He approached slowly. Alena, tell me everything. She handed him the USB. This has the list of every undercover agent in Europe. Someone hacked the Interpol vault. Someone inside is selling identities. Mine included. Aiden's jaw tightened. So that's why they were after you. A black sedan screeched around the corner. Alena stiffened. They found us again. Aiden grabbed her hand. Run. They sprinted across the bridge as bullets sparked against the railing. Aiden pulled her behind a stone pillar, shielding her with his body. Aiden, you'll get hurt. I'd rather take a bullet than lose you. Their eyes locked, fear. Fire. Something unspoken growing between them. But there was no time. He pulled a small device from his pocket, attached it to the USB. This will scramble the data. If they want the list, they'll have to come through me. The rain intensified, thunder rolling like war drums. Alena touched his arm. Why are you risking all of this? You don't even know who's behind it. Aiden exhaled slowly. I don't need to know who's behind it. I just need to know you're worth saving. She froze before she could respond. A red laser appeared on Aiden's chest. Sniper! Alena pulled him down. A bullet cracked the stone behind them. Aiden gritted his teeth. We need high ground. Come on. They climbed the metal staircase to the rooftops. Breathless, dripping rainwater, Vienna stretched below them, glowing like a dangerous dream. From the rooftop edge, Aiden spotted the shooter on a building opposite. Alena, there's only one way out. She understood instantly. You're not thinking what I think you're thinking. He grabbed her waist. Jump with me. Lightning split the sky as they leaped together, crashing into a construction net on the next building. The world bounced, swayed, then steadied. Aiden groaned. Alena gasped for breath, lying on her back beside him. Are you alive? She whispered. He turned his face toward hers, smiling despite the pain. Only because you jumped. Their hands touched. Held. Didn't let go. Sirens wailed below. Aiden stood, pulling her up. Alena, whoever hacked Interpol, they're still watching us. We need to disappear. She nodded. I know a place. But Aiden, before we go, there's something you need to see. She opened her coat and revealed a small metal tag. It had a symbol engraved on it. 2 crossed arrows and a serpent. Aiden's breath stopped. No, it can't be. You recognize it? She asked softly. He swallowed hard. That's the mark of the Umber Circle, the same organization responsible for my brother's death. Alena's eyes widened. Aiden, the people chasing us, they not after the USB. He stared at her, heart pounding. Then what do they want? Alena stepped closer, voice trembling. They want me because I don't just have the data. I have the last piece of the code that can unlock their entire network. Aiden's blood ran cold. Then we start running, he said. Together. And for the first time, Alena didn't resist. She slipped her fingers into his. Rain poured over them as they disappeared into the night. 2 broken souls now bound by danger, secrets, and something deeper neither of them dared name yet. Chapter 6. The betrayal. In the night, rain hammered against the tall glass windows of the safe house in Prague, a quiet rhythm that hid the true storm inside. Aiden had been pacing for nearly an hour. Restless, sharp, every nerve on alert. Alena watched him from the corner of the dim room, arms wrapped around herself. They had escaped Vienna by seconds. They had uncovered evidence that someone inside Interpol was selling intelligence to the criminal syndicate, the Vipers. And worst of all, someone from their own team had betrayed them. Alena's voice finally broke the silence. Aiden, you're scaring me. Say something. He stopped, breathing hard. I can feel it, Alena. Someone tracked us here. The leak is close, too close. She stepped toward him. You think someone followed us from Vienna? I know they did. A sudden bang at the door sent them both spinning. Hands to weapons, backs pressed to the wall, breaths held. But the sound wasn't from the door, it was from Alena's tablet on the table. An encrypted message flashing. Incoming file. Play immediately. Trust no one. Aiden exchanged a look with her. Alena swallowed hard and tapped the screen. A video opened. It was security camera footage. Aiden leaned forward, and his jaw tightened. There, on the screen, was their colleague and friend from the intelligence team, Lucas. Walking confidently into a dark warehouse, meeting a masked man, handing over a hard drive. Smiling, Aiden's pulse pounded. Alena gasped, hand covering her mouth. No, Lucas. He's like a brother to you. Was? Aiden said coldly. The video continued. And then the masked man spoke, his voice distorted. Make sure they never leave Europe alive, especially the girl. Alena staggered backward. Aiden immediately pulled her close. Don't listen. They won't touch you. Not while I'm breathing. But inside, something dark twisted in him. Rage. Betrayal. Fear. Alena felt it, too. This means Lucas knows where we are? She whispered. Aiden nodded. And he's coming. Before they could plan their next move, the lights flickered, went out. Total darkness. Aiden grabbed Alena's hand. Stay behind me. The safe house's silent alarm blinked red. Motion sensors triggered. Footsteps. 3 sets. Approaching fast, shadows moved in the hallway. Aiden cocked his weapon, voice low and lethal. They're already here. Alena's breath hitched. What do we do? He squeezed her hand. We fight our way out. The door burst open. Smoke grenades rolled across the floor. Flashes. Shouting. Gunfire. Aiden shielded Alena with his body. As they dove behind a steel desk, shards of glass exploded across the room. The entire world narrowed into chaos, danger, and adrenaline. Then, a familiar voice echoed from the hallway. Come out, Aiden. Don't make this difficult. Alena's heart dropped. Lucas. Aiden's eyes hardened into steel. Alena, promise me something. She stared at him, trembling. What? If I don't make it? No, she grabbed his face. Don't you dare. He kissed her. Quick, fierce, desperate. Run when I tell you. Aiden. But he was already moving. He leaped from cover with a roar, firing with pinpoint precision, clearing 2 attackers in seconds. Alena forced herself to stay focused, covering his flank. The smoke cleared slightly. Lucas appeared in the doorway, calm, smiling, holding a silenced pistol. Alena, he said softly, you should have chosen safer company. Aiden stepped between them, gun raised. Lucas, you betrayed everything. Lucas shrugged. I chose to survive. Aiden fired first. Lucas dodged and fired back. A bullet grazed Aiden's arm. Alena screamed his name. Lucas smirked. Come on, old friend. You can't protect her forever. Aiden's vision blurred for a second, but his resolve did not. Alena, he whispered, voice sharp. Run. She hesitated, but the ceiling cracked as explosives detonated on the roof. Dust rained down. The building was collapsing. Aiden shoved her toward the emergency exit. Gio? Alena ran as the world crumbled behind her. Hearing Aiden's voice, gunshots, Lucas's mocking laughter, then a final blast. In silence, Alena stumbled into the street, tears streaming, heart pounding. Aiden, please, please be alive. But behind her, the safe house was now an inferno of flames and smoke. Aiden was still inside. Chapter 7. The night Paris froze. Paris should have been alive at night. Cafes glowing, violinists playing, couples laughing along the Seine, but tonight, the city felt like it was holding its breath. Aiden parked the black Audi under the shadow of Pont Neuf. The river's reflection trembled as if it sensed danger to Alena. So this is where the message came from? Aiden. Encrypted. Anonymous. Sent only to me. Alena stepped out, coat brushing against the wind. She had changed since the night everything exploded. No longer just a traveler caught in chaos. Now she moved like someone who had chosen danger. Aiden noticed. He admired it, feared it, loved it, but he couldn't allow those thoughts now. He pulled up the message again on his phone. I know who framed you. Midnight. Pont Neuf. Come alone. Attached. A blurred photo of a man with a scar above his left eye. Alena shivered. The same man we saw in Berlin. Aiden nodded. The one who disappeared before I could catch him. The clock struck 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Aiden scanned the bridge. Tourists had thinned. Boats were gone. Only the hum of faraway traffic remained. Everything too quiet. Alena whispered. A trap. Aiden slipped a hand under his jacket, touching the grip of the compact weapon. Definitely. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Coming from the center of the bridge. Aiden tensed. Alena held her breath. A man emerged from the darkness. Long coat. Hands visible. Scar above his left eye. He stopped 10 feet from them. Stranger. Aiden Hale. I was wondering if you'd come. Aiden's jaw tightened. You've been following us since Prague. Why? The stranger smirked. Because you're looking for answers that people die for. Alena stepped forward. Then maybe you should start talking. He studied her with curiosity. Alena Moretti, the unexpected variable in all of this. Aiden subtly shifted in front of her. Stranger. Relax, Hale. I'm not here to hurt her. Aiden. But you are here to hurt me? Quite the opposite. The stranger slid a small metal drive across the ground. It stopped at Aiden's boots. This contains the truth. Aiden didn't move. Stranger. Take it, before they arrive. Alena's voice trembled. Who are they? He looked over the river, eyes narrowing. They're already here. A sniper beam flashed for a split second on the stranger's chest. Aiden saw it first. Down! A shot cracked the night. The stranger collapsed, blood spilling across the stones. Alena screamed. Aiden grabbed her hand and pulled her behind the stone railing as two more shots shattered the lamps. Aiden, run. Now! Boots thundered on the far end of the bridge. Shadows. Multiple. Armed. Alena clutched his jacket. Aiden, he's dying. And we will too if we don't move. He grabbed the metal drive, pocketed it, and dragged Alena toward the stairs leading down to the river. More bullets exploded behind them. Sparks flew off the railing. Aiden shoved Alena ahead. Go! Go! They sprinted down the steps as a black SUV screeched onto the bridge. Masked men jumped out. Automatic weapons. Alena gasped. They're coming after us. Aiden pushed her harder. Keep moving. They reached the riverbank, only to find 3 more men blocking the path. Trapped, Alena clung to Aiden's arm, heart racing. Alena, Aiden, what do we do? He stepped in front of her, eyes burning with a fire she'd never seen. Aiden, we fight. The men advanced. Aiden took a stance that showed he was more than just a man on the run. He had been trained for moments exactly like this. The first attacker lunged. Aiden sidestepped, slammed an elbow into the man's jaw, and yanked his weapon away in one fluid motion. Alena stared in shock. Aiden, who are you? He knocked out the second man before answering. Then he grabbed her hand. Aiden, someone who will die before I let anything happen to you. And for the first time, Alena believed him completely. Chapter 8. Shadows of betrayal. The city lights shimmered against the late evening fog as Aiden drove through the narrow streets of Prague. His jaw was tight, his mind racing with every piece of information Alena had uncovered the night before. They weren't just being hunted, they were being manipulated. Someone close to them had betrayed their trust. Alena sat beside him, scanning the encrypted messages on her tablet, her fingers trembling. Aiden, this isn't just about the syndicate anymore. There's someone feeding them every move we make, every step. He glanced at her, noticing the usual calm determination was fraying at the edges. Do you know who? He asked, his voice low, almost a whisper. She shook her head. Not yet, but I traced a signal back to someone. In our own circle. Someone we trusted. Aiden's grip tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles white. Then we need to confront them before they turn everything upside down. Before Alena could answer, the headlights of a black SUV appeared in the rearview mirror. Too late, Aiden realized it wasn't following. They were being boxed in. The SUV slammed a glancing blow into the side of their car, sending it skidding onto the cobblestones. Aiden swerved, narrowly missing a group of pedestrians, and slammed the car into a narrow alley. They were trapped. Alena grabbed his arm. Weapons, she muttered, producing 2 sleek pistols from her backpack. Aiden pulled his own gun from the concealed holster at his side. I hoped it wouldn't come to this. The SUV's doors opened, and shadows spilled out. Men in dark suits, masked and relentless, advanced toward them with mechanical precision. Aiden and Alena exchanged a tense look. This was it. Survival depended on their trust, their timing, and the knowledge that betrayal could be hiding in plain sight. As the first man lunged, Aiden rolled, firing with pinpoint accuracy. Alena took cover behind a dumpster, her movements a blur as she neutralized another assailant. Bullets ricocheted, shattering nearby windows, sending shards into the foggy night. In the chaos, a figure moved silently along the rooftops above. A sniper, observing, calculating. Aiden caught a glimpse of a familiar silhouette, someone he thought was an ally. His stomach sank. The betrayal wasn't just a rumor. It was real. Alena looked up, catching his expression. Who? She demanded. Before he could answer, the sniper fired. Aiden lunged, pushing Alena out of the line of fire. The bullet missed him by inches, striking the wall with a deafening crash, heart pounding. Aiden grabbed Alena's hand. We need to get out of the city. Now. As they sprinted into the foggy streets, The distant sound of sirens blended with the echo of gunfire. The city they thought they knew had turned into a labyrinth of danger, deceit, and shadows. And somewhere, in the murk of betrayal, their most dangerous enemy was smiling. Chapter 9. The midnight chase. The rain had started, thin sheets at first, then heavy torrents that slicked the cobblestone streets of Vienna. Aiden and Alena ran through the deserted alleys, their breaths coming in ragged gasps, hearts pounding in perfect sync. Every shadow could be a threat. Every step could be their last. Alena glanced over her shoulder. "They're still following us," she shouted over the pounding rain. Aiden could just make out the glint of headlights bouncing off the wet stones. He pulled her into a narrow doorway, pressing his back against the wall. "Wait! Let them pass," he muttered. "We need to lose them in the old district. Too many corners, too many blind spots. We can't let them corner us." Alena nodded, but her eyes betrayed her fear. Not of the syndicate, they had faced worse, but of the traitor hiding in plain sight. Someone who knew their every move. Someone they trusted. Suddenly, a figure stepped from the shadows. Tall, familiar, and smiling too casually. "Aiden, Alena," said a voice, dripping with mock concern. It was Lucas, a former ally who had once saved their lives during a mission in Berlin. "I wouldn't run if I were you. It's pointless." Aiden's hand went to his gun instinctively. "Lucas, what the hell are you doing?" Lucas shrugged, almost apologetic. "Let's just say, I've changed allegiances, and I think it's time you understood the bigger picture. You've been playing the game all wrong." Alena stepped forward, gun raised. "Bigger picture? You've been feeding them everything. You betrayed us." "I prefer to call it strategic alignment," Lucas said, his eyes cold. "Now hand over the device. The one with the syndicate's intel, or this chase ends badly." Aiden tightened his grip on his gun. "Over my dead body." Lucas smirked, signaling two masked men behind him. They advanced slowly, the rain making every movement a calculated threat. Alena glanced at Aiden. "We need a distraction." He nodded. "Follow my lead." In a split second, Aiden hurled a small smoke grenade into the street. Thick clouds of gray swallowed the alley, blinding their pursuers. The masked men coughed, staggering, while Lucas cursed under his breath. Using the chaos, Aiden grabbed Alena's hand, pulling her through a hidden side exit, a narrow tunnel under an abandoned building. Water dripped from the ceiling, making it slippery, dangerous, but it was their only chance. Emerging in a deserted courtyard, they paused to catch their breath. The distant sirens of the city echoed, blending with the sound of their racing hearts. Alena turned to him, drenched and exhausted. "Aiden, we can't trust anyone. Not Lucas, not anyone. We have to finish this ourselves." Aiden pulled her close, their foreheads touching, the rain washing over them as if cleansing the city's corruption. "Then we do it together. No one else. Just you and me." A quiet moment, stolen from chaos, but it couldn't last. From the shadows, a faint noise, the click of a gun being cocked, reminded them. The hunt wasn't over. They were running out of time, running out of options, and the true enemy had yet to reveal themselves. Chapter 10. Secrets in the shadows. The moon hung low over Budapest, its pale light reflecting off the Danube, casting eerie silver streaks on the water. Aiden and Alena crouched on a rooftop, scanning the streets below. The city was alive with neon signs and late-night traffic, yet to them, it felt like a hunting ground. "Alena," Aiden whispered, "we need to find Lucas before he disappears again. If he gets to the syndicate with our intel, we're finished." Alena nodded, her eyes scanning a series of alleyways. "He's smart. He'll anticipate our moves. But so will we." Aiden's phone buzzed. An anonymous message. "Midnight Bridge. Alone. Or everything ends." The sender ID was blocked. Aiden frowned. This could be a trap, or it could be Lucas trying to negotiate. Alena's hand found his. "We do this together. No splitting up." By midnight, they arrived at the chain bridge. Mist rolled off the Danube, curling around the suspension cables. The bridge was empty, Silent except for the occasional splash of water against stone, a shadow detached itself from the mist. Lucas emerged, hands raised, a smirk on his face. "So dramatic," he said, voice echoing over the water. "You always did like theatrics." Aiden stepped forward, gun drawn. "Talk, or this ends now." Lucas's eyes flicked to Alena. "I never wanted it to come to this. But the syndicate, they're bigger than all of us. They control governments, banks, even the streets you walk on. You were never going to beat them alone." Alena's voice was cold. "And yet here we are, still standing. Because we trust each other." Lucas hesitated, and for the first time, Aiden saw a crack in his confident facade. You don't understand everything," Lucas said, lowering his hands slightly. "I did what I had to do to survive." Aiden's finger tightened on the trigger. Survive? Or profit? Before Lucas could answer, a roar echoed from beneath the bridge. A black speedboat emerged from the shadows, its engine growling, carrying more syndicate operatives. "Alena, cover me," Aiden yelled, and without hesitation, she raised her gun, firing with precision at the advancing boat. Sparks flew as bullets ricocheted off metal, the water splashing violently. Lucas dove toward the bridge railing, slipping in the mist. "This isn't over," he shouted. Alena grabbed Aiden's arm. "We can't let him escape, not now." Aiden shook his head. "Some battles aren't meant to be won in one night. We take what we have and we plan the next move." They watched as Lucas disappeared into the shadows of the city, leaving behind only the echo of betrayal and the distant roar of the syndicate's engines. Breathless and drenched, Alena turned to Aiden, her voice trembling. "Every step we take, we risk everything. But I can't imagine doing this with anyone else." Aiden pulled her close, their silhouettes framed against the silver light of the Danube. "Then we keep moving, together, until we win." For a fleeting moment, the chaos of the city faded, leaving only them, two hearts bound in a dangerous world, fighting shadows, betrayal, and their own fears. Chapter 11. Infiltration. The next morning, Vienna's streets glistened under the early sun, but Aiden and Alena had no time to admire the city. Their minds were focused, their bodies tense, as they prepared for the most dangerous mission yet. Infiltrating the syndicate's heavily guarded headquarters. Aiden crouched beside Alena in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, studying the blueprints he had managed to steal from Lucas's encrypted files. "The main security hub is here," he said, pointing at a small room near the center. "If we disable it, we can move in and grab the intel." Alena nodded, checking her weapons and gadgets. "And the syndicate operatives? They're heavily armed. We'll go in fast, quiet, and if we get caught, we adapt. We survive," Aiden said, his jaw set, eyes locked on hers. Alena's hand found his. "I trust you." Aiden's chest tightened. "Always." By nightfall, they approached the syndicate's fortress, a steel and glass monolith, surrounded by armed guards and surveillance drones. The city lights reflected off its surface like a beacon of danger. Alena activated her hacking device, projecting a small holographic map of the security grid. "We have 10 minutes before the patrol rotates." "That's our window." Aiden nodded. "Let's move." Slipping through shadows, they bypassed the perimeter, avoiding cameras and silently neutralizing a pair of guards. Their movements were synchronized, a dance of precision born from countless missions together. Inside, the headquarters was a maze of corridors and reinforced doors. They paused outside the main server room, listening. Voices echoed behind the walls. Lucas is among them, laughing, confident. "Alena, he's inside," Aiden whispered. "We need to be careful. He knows this place better than anyone." Alena's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll use that against him." Using a combination of stealth and improvised tactics, they entered the server room undetected. Rows of computers and blinking lights illuminated the space. Alena quickly connected her device, downloading the syndicate's critical data. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the doorway. "Lucas, I wondered how long it would take you too," he said, smirking. "Did you really think you could outsmart me?" Aiden stepped forward, gun drawn. This ends tonight, Lucas. Hand over the intel. Lucas shook his head. You still don't see the whole picture. The syndicate isn't just a group of criminals. They control everything. Politics, finances, even the lives you think you're saving. Before Aiden could respond, the room erupted in gunfire. Syndicate reinforcements had discovered their presence. Alena rolled behind a console, firing with deadly accuracy, while Aiden took cover and returned fire amid the chaos. Lucas made a move toward the main console, trying to delete the data. Alena dove, grabbing his arm. Not today, she shouted. Aiden lunged, tackling Lucas to the ground. In the struggle, Lucas's weapon skidded across the floor. Alena seized it and pressed it to his chest. Enough, Lucas, she barked. This ends now. Breathing heavily, Lucas glared at them, but the defiance in their eyes, the trust between Aiden and Alena, made him pause. For the first time, he realized they weren't just opponents. They were a force he couldn't control. Aiden grabbed Alena's hand, pulling her toward the emergency exit. We have what we came for. Let's go. As they disappeared into the night, the headquarters behind them erupted into alarms and chaos. They didn't look back. Together, they had survived another deadly encounter, but the syndicate was far from defeated. And somewhere in the shadows, Lucas's betrayal still lingered, threatening to strike again.